came up for people last round, and we would have only had me and Pepper, and as fun as it is to 1v1 and stuff that way, half the idea of this is to play against multiple people with the way we have this set now. So yeah, we're into Sandstorm, and it is quite a game-changing set, but not quite as crazy in most ways as the previous one, if that makes like any sense whatsoever. There's a lot of really good stuff in here, and some of it definitely does change the power level of the game. So where last set was more on the setup side of things, where you've had stuff like the Gardevoir, the Swampert, the Blaziken that could energy accelerate, Delcadia that could draw cards and such, this is where the payoffs for that come in. So we should see quite a lot of cards from this set actually played right now, but individually they are a bit more replaceable than the last ones, because when new attackers come out, then they take the place of these ones and such, right? But there's still a lot in here to go with. We're going to start down the bottom actually with the new fossils, because whilst Mysterious Fossil comes back in here, it puts it back into the card pool as well. Whilst this is here, we do have new fossils for the Gen 3 stuff, which does actually unfortunately set a trend for most of the game's lifespan, where you have your own separate fossils for stuff now. These ones are a little bit bigger than the ones that we have in the Mysterious Fossil side of things, but they still have the same traits, where you can start with one, but they're not a Pokemon you can search with from the deck. They do not give up a prize, they can't use any attacks of their own, you have to give them an attack with a trainer card, and they can't be affected by special conditions. However, both the Root and the Claw Fossil, which are now unique to the Credilli and Armaldo lines respectively, they have their own Pokebody as well, where Root Fossil, as we just saw, would heal a damage counter in between turns, and Claw Fossil does damage to the opponent whenever they damage the fossil itself. So kinda cool, but at 40 HP they don't tend to last too long. They just deter little chips like Lullabies or you know, hit for 10 or whatever, or hit for 20 in Root Fossil's case. So yeah, but they're important because the fossils themselves are actually, like, the evolutions are really good here. We'll start with Armaldo. I don't think anyone's actually built the deck for this week, which is maybe a bit of a shame, but I didn't really feel like it, to be honest, because I already had something I was more comfortable with. But Armaldo, if it's in the active position, blocks out supporter cards from both players. This is kind of ridiculous, to be honest, because supporters are literally the lifeblood of the game at the moment. There are no draw items anymore, so if you can't play supporters to get your hand refreshed, you basically can't play the game. It's also about 120 HP, and 60 for free is not amazing, but it's definitely higher than average output right now, and that's good enough. This card is an absolute house, and you can even play around it because you would play copious quantities of Warp Point and Switch and stuff in your deck, so that you'd be able to switch this out into something that has 0 retreat, play your supporter, and then retreat back into it so the opponent can't play supporters on their turn. So there's a lot that you can do with this, even as just a locking tool. Very, very strong card. The Credilli that's associated with it is also really good, arguably better, to be honest. If it's the active, then the opponent can't retreat. We didn't actually see this played, but there was the Snorlax that prevented the opponent from retreating as well, except this one you can't disable via special conditions, so you can't poison this and then expect to be able to retreat. That's not how it works. So very, very strong. Low poison is really good synergy with that type of ability. You can force the opponent to switch for just 1 energy and then poison the new thing. You get to choose what switches in as well, so you pick off the thing that the opponent just can't touch, and it's kind of insane. Spiral Drain is also relatively good. It's on par damage, like 50 for free energy, and it removes 2 damage counters. That's pretty good. 100 HP can survive quite a bit with that, so very, very strong card. The evolutions that they come from as well are also pretty good. Lileep has the ability to search out more fossils, so that's pretty strong, and also potentially devolve the opponents too, which is very irritating. This devolution actually shuffles them back into the deck as opposed to putting to hand like most devolution spray stuff goes, so that's very powerful. The other one not so much, but that's fine. And then the Anorith lets you search for any evolution card for 1 energy, so you can use this for the Armaldo, or you can use this to set up, say, a Delcatty on the bench or something as well. So this lets you play, say, Elm's Training Method as an attack, and also a search supporter, or a draw supporter or something. The other one's decent enough, but it's pretty generic, to be honest. There's actually a Combuskin that does the same thing as this. So maybe if you want the cheap damage in a Wally deck, you could use this, but it's not nearly as strong, I don't think. Also got more retreat costs, so whatever. So that's the main gimmick with this set. We do have the fossil stuff here, but let's move on and just talk about the rest of it in relative order here. Cacturne is interesting because the Cacnea also shares this Pokebody. If it's your active and gets damaged by an opponent's attack, you poison the attacking Pokemon. So this is 20 damage going into your turn, like their turn again. So that's actually quite good. And its attack is unfortunately only passable. Triple Colorless Snipe 40, like the Snipe 40 is actually really good, but triple colorless to do it. You can use boost energy, so if you've got plenty of those, maybe you can do that for a little bit, but then you're not maintaining energy on the board, so maybe that's a bit rough. And then 3 for 40 just isn't strong enough otherwise, so it's a little bit underpowered, but the ability is stupid good, so could still see play just because of that. Dusclops, unfortunately we misread this one a little bit. Its second attack is put a total of 5 damage counters on all defending Pokemon in any way that you like, so this is a doubles based attack. You spread 50 damage between both of the opponent's actives. We don't play doubles, so unfortunately this doesn't do more than just put 5 damage counters down. And its first attack is very, very flippy. We don't have a reflip type ability right now, so 25% of the time you get a KO, but 75% of the time it's 2 energy, do nothing. Unfortunately not particularly good. Flareon, a little bit overpriced to be honest. I know it's a stage 2, but the Blaziken, not good Blaziken at that, did Flamethrower with the exact same cost and did 10 more damage. So a little bit under the weather here. If it had a 1 energy attack, like say 20 damage for 1, maybe you could justify it, because you could use it with the Espeon as a Wally style thing then, but as it stands, I mean, it's still plausible if you need to hit for fire weakness, but that's not too likely, unfortunately. Jolteon, I mean, this is not a very good looking Jolteon, I'll just tell you that. Artwork on this is not great, I'm afraid, but Lightning Strike is a little bit too costly, being 2 lightning in a colorless. May discard a lightning on this to do 70 instead of 40. 70 for discard 2 is just not good enough, really. It is a non-EX, I guess, so there is that. Double kick isn't really worth anything either, so it's a hard miss for me, unfortunately. It doesn't even have 0 retreat, so, and it shares the same weakness as Eevee, so it's a hard pass, I'm afraid. Ludicolo is kind of good. The actual line, the entire Ludicolo line here, Lotad, Lombre, and the Ludicolo, all share the Rain Dish ability here, where at any time between turns you remove a damage counter from this thing. This is the same as what's on the Spongy Stone, so you effectively heal 20 in between each of your own turns, and that can matter quite a lot. Rainbow energy attached to this thing, it doesn't matter, you're going to heal that damage off. If you use something like Gardevoir's Psy Shadow, you put 2 damage counters on this thing, it's okay. By the time it comes back to your next turn, those damage counters have gone. This kind of ability really betrays the fact that it has like 90 HP, like it's a lot harder to kill this than you would expect. 50 damage attacks actually don't do enough damage to outright kill it. You need more than 50 each turn. Its actual attack is fairly good, but a little bit energy intensive. It's basically Hydro Pump, but in fist form, apparently. 50 plus 10 for each water that's attached to it, but not used to pay for the attack. So it's 50 for 3, 60 for 4, 70 for 5. 70 for 5 is what the Sceptile did last week, so it's not, like, impossibly big, but that is a lot of energy commitment, so it's a bit tough. The Lunatone and the Solrock both work with each other, as they often do in the TCG. If you have Solrock in play, you can make Lunatone a Dark type until the end of the turn, and for the Solrock, if you have Lunatone in play, it becomes a Fire type. Both of these are relatively decent, like Fire fighting Psychic Dark is a pretty decent set of weaknesses to hit, but their attacks are a little bit tough to justify for that, like 40 for free, or, I mean 30 for 2 is good, but 40 for free is a little bit expensive. But what they really excel at is the Cosmic Draw. With so many evolution cards mandated to see play right now, these are just draw free for 1 energy most of the time. That's really good, because it's evolved Pokemon in play, not they're active. So, you know, they could have like a Dunsparce or something in the active and a Delcatty on the bench, and you still just get to draw free. Pretty respectable. Mobile, I am sorry to say, Azrael, this is the first one, and it is still not very good, I'm afraid. It's kind of cute, I guess. You can shuffle a supporter from the opponent's hand into their deck, but they get to draw a card for doing so, which is annoying. And then 20 damage, you can force the opponent to switch first. You do get to choose what switches in, and it does 20 to the new Pokemon instead of the old one. But it's for a Metal and a Colorless, and Metal is still special energy at this point, so you still don't have very many of them to play. Sad to say, this is not a good card in the slightest, so hard pass, I'm afraid. Sableye is much better, which annoys me, to be honest, because I prefer Mawile to Sableye, but whatever. Sableye tends to get quite a lot of at least interesting cards, if not outright good cards. This one is good. You look at the opponent's hand for 1 energy, you copy a supporter that is in their hand. So yes, you don't get to, say, do anything with the draw at that point, but if your hand is dead and the opponent has a shuffle drawer in their hand, you just get to refresh your own hand, which is really cool. Dark Bind also can be playable. 20 damage is not a lot, but it does an extra 10 if you put the special darkness on it, and then if you discard Dark, you can auto paralyze, which is actually pretty strong. Seviper, unfortunately, like, not really remotely good here. 2 colorless energy, if the opponent is an EX, 20 plus poison sleep is okay, but not really great. And deadly poison, you have to actually discard a poison, like a grass energy, in order to do the poison here. Just why? It's not deadly if you have to, I mean, it's deadly to you because you're removing all your resources. Shiftry, we're actually going to see this week. There are 2 different Shiftry, and I'm only playing this one, but we are going to see this week. Once during your turn before you attack, you can flip a coin. If heads, return an energy card from the defending Pokemon to the opponent's hand. It's Denial. If you can get more than one of this in play, you are odds on to, like, most of the time, you're going to remove at least 1 energy from the opponent's active Pokemon. If they don't have energy, they can't attack. Simple as that. It also does more damage if the opponent doesn't have energy on them, so it has its own inbuilt synergy here. 80 for 4 is really good, but you need to make sure they have 0 energy on them to do that. That's very possible, though. We have 3 copies of this thing, so it is very, very possible to do that. The other Shiftry is rare, and it's down here. It's got the same, I mean, both of them are 120 HP, so they are both pretty respectable, to be honest. That is a very solid amount of health to have on this stuff. 40 damage snipe anywhere. I mentioned this on the Cacturn, that it wasn't strong enough, but that was as a standalone attack. This does have another attack that is 60 for 4 energy. That's a lot, but if you're considering that you would probably be playing this Shiftry in like a Sceptile deck or something, where its high HP is going to keep it alive, you can Pokemon Nurse with this thing, and you are going to just be able to transfer the energy anywhere you want, you're probably going to be able to pay this. Boost Energy can also use both of these attacks, so like you can fuel them with it, so it's okay. A little bit under the power level that we would like, but that snipe damage can matter, so still not too terrible. What is terrible, unfortunately, though, is our last holo here, the Zangoose. Can't be poisoned, which is great, but target slash is like 40 to specifically Seviper. We do not have Elemental Hero Prisma in this game, or like Lunalite Kaleido Chick or some shit. We do not have anything that changes the name of the opponent's Pokemon, or, you know, any Pokemon for that matter, so this is 10 for 1 energy, basically. which, okay, it's a starting attack, I guess that's fine, but Super Slash only does bonus damage to evolution Pokemon, and 60 for any free is pretty good. 60 for free that you can't use a boost energy on is significantly less good, and 30 for free on basics is just not good at all. So I do not currently see a home for this Zangoose. Maybe I'm overthinking something or like missing it here. I wish there was, because I pulled 3 of this stupid card, but I just don't see it right now. As far as the res go, we do have Arcanine. Both Growlithe and Arcanine share the fire availability here, where the opponent is burnt if they damage you whilst it's active, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, the payout, just like with the Cacturne here, the payout is not super great. Burn Up only does 60 for free, and if you flip Tails, you got to discard all the fire that's on it. You can play around this by only having 1 fire on, but you're still discarding energy for that. It's passable. I mean, flamethrower style attacks are not terrible, but they usually need a little bit more of a payout than this. So I think it's sort of borderline, but it's not quite strong enough to justify play here. One thing that is strong enough though is the Espeon. We can talk about the Eevee in this set real quick as well actually. I know we're bouncing around a lot here, but this Eevee is actually relevant. Signs of Evolution is a really good attack. Searching your deck for any 3 cards that evolve from Eevee, show them to opponent, put them into hand. So all of these evolutions, they're not amazing by themselves mostly, but the fact if you can search out whichever ones you need at any given time is rather powerful. So there's definitely potential for a toolbox type thing here, and Espeon is the spearhead of that toolbox. 20 plus confusion on a heads flip if you use just 1 psychic energy, and Energy Crush is really good against those acceleration decks. It's 20 damage plus 10 for every energy that all of the opponent's Pokemon have on them, and it can be used with boost energy. So very, very powerful. Any free energy, you can splash this into any deck that's playing multi or rainbow energy or something. Super good card. Golduck is potentially good, but probably a little bit high roll right now. It really relies on the opponent playing a lot of special energy, and we've kind of shied away from a lot of those, to be honest. If it's in the active spot, you can flip a coin and confuse the opponent on heads with its Poke Power, which is pretty good. And if the opponent's got a special energy on them, it does 70 for 2, which is nuts. But it is Psychic Water, and it only does 30 if they don't have any special energy on them. So 30 for 2 different color of energy is not remotely good, but 70 is incredible. So I guess in like a psychic deck with multi-energy, you could probably see this being played, with the multi-energy or the rainbow being able to provide the water, but it's tough. It's a metagame call, and I don't know if we really have the sort of sample size that will justify that. Kecleon copies all the types of the basic energy that's on it, so you can hit a lot of stuff for weakness, but its attack is really bad, like just 2 coins, 20 times the number of heads for 2 energy, so it can hit multiple weaknesses, but again, it's a metagame call card that's not really going to see play. Omastar, the Omanite is kind of worth talking about as well. The Carbotops has got the same first attack here. Where is our Omanite friend? It is down here. It's a common for some reason. So both the Omanite and the Omastar, the Carbotops, have got Team Assembly, where you can search your deck for Omanite, Carbotops, or any number of basic Pokemon, and put like as many of them as you want onto the bench. Really, really strong attack. This is a stage 1, however, so it's harder to get out immediately, but very, very powerful setup attack. You can then evolve those Pokemon next turn as well, so really, really good. The Omastar is worth going into as well. This can devolve all of the opponent's Pokemon in play with just 1 energy, and Hydro Cannon is solid. We've seen this attack on Dark Blastoise before, except the beginning cost of that was 2 water energy. This is 2 colorless energy, which means you can play this in multi-type decks. If you have, say, 2 fire and 2 water on this thing, it still does 70 damage for 4, which is a good conversion, so definitely strong. Pichu, the new baby Pokemon, do not actually have any baby powers, so they do take damage and stuff as normal, but what they do have is this baby evolution effect, where if you can use Poke Powers, so it's not getting disabled by like Muck or something, you can play the Pikachu onto Pichu as an evolution and heal the Pichu fully. This happens with all the baby Pokemon, and some attacks later on will matter for these if they are evolutions or not. Pichu itself is pretty decent though. You can double attach from your discard to one of your Pokemon in play, any basic energy that you want, and it puts a damage counter on the Pokemon that you attach to for each energy that you do. So the only problem with this is that it costs lightning, which kind of limits where you can splash this, but very good card nonetheless. Sandslash would be pretty decent in doubles because 20 to both active Pokemon and stops them retreating, but it's not doubles, so it's pretty bad. Steelix is very expensive. The Onix also has a rage attack here as well. It's got a lot of HP, so you might be able to use that, but we don't have Goldberry to heal you after use, so you might be a little bit vulnerable if you use this at as a finishing move. Spinning Tail is really good, 20 to all of the opponent's Pokemon. That's insane. But it's also for 2 metal, 2 colorless, which is very hard to charge up. So, cool card. I just don't know how you're playing it right now. Umbreon, unfortunately, is very, very underpowered here. This is literally just worse Espeon in every way. Yeah, it's got a colorless for its Confuse Ray cost, but it does less damage. It doesn't hit much for weakness at all. I think it's only the ghost types right now. And Moon Impact just is not good enough for the cost. If you have a special dark powering that, that's 50 for free, which is okay. But it's just not good enough, unfortunately. Vaporeon, similar idea here, except it's at least a little bit better. Aquasonic means you can splash this into decks that are, say you could use this in a, I don't even know, something that's weak to fire, right? You could use this in like a metal deck, and if the opponent has grass Pokemon, then this doesn't get killed by them immediately. Guess there's that. Wobbuffet. Potentially format warping super threat that probably isn't going to be for quite a while. We have to see how the pulls go. This might not be very good in draft, but keep an eye on this one because I have 4 of it. Safeguard is insane. This is the first time that we get to see this kind of thing, but this will be fairly prevalent throughout all generations. Prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to Wobbuffet by the opponent's Pokemon EX. Whatever the chase type is, Pokemon EX, level X, GX, etc., there will always be, at least at some point, a Pokemon that has Safeguard, or that kind of ability where it prevents you from being affected by them. This is the first, and it's actually pretty decent as an attacker too. 50 for any free energy, does 10 to itself, not applying weakness because it's weak to itself, but yeah, 50, 10 recoil on an 80 HP Pokemon, that's pretty solid. Keep an eye on this guy, especially because the Wynon is also really good actually. It's Psychic locked, which is a bit annoying, but for every energy that's on this Pokemon, you search your deck for a basic or evolution card and add it to the hand. So, excellent setup tool. Keep an eye on this. Then we get past the rest of that's all the rares done. Some uncommon stuff. Arbok has got Intimidating Fang, but it doesn't do nearly enough with Toxic to justify the reduction. Azumarill is a bit of a high roll card here. You flip coins for every energy that's attached to all of your active Pokemon, so better in doubles than singles. 30 damage times the number of heads. Its first attack lets you flood the board with, or your active Pokemon at least, with a bunch of energy, but it's just too risky. You've got to put like 5 energy on this thing, or 6 to average 90. Doesn't seem worth it. Azurill can search for a trainer, but it's not worth playing Marill because of it. There is an actual error with the Marill where this one says it's got 0 retreat, but it's supposed to have 1. Like 50% of the packs in real life it had 1, 50% it had 0. It was kind of funny. What else we got? We got a Baltoy without a Claydol, which is annoying. Electabuzz is really good. It can do 40 snipe on a basic, which is pretty good for free energy. When you consider this doesn't take extra resources to get into play, and it can self-accelerate too, which is quite good. The Elekid I think is search your deck for an energy and then attach it to something, so that's kind of okay. Yeah, it's a solid Pokemon. Probably doesn't have a home at the moment though. The Illumise and the Volbeat do have like another sort of synergy ability here, where like they cut damage done to themselves and berries. So I think, what is it for one? Is it like Zero Retreating or something? Where's the Volbeat? Yeah, Zero Retreat. They have ability attacks do more damage based on status conditions being in play. They're fine. They're nothing really too good though. Linoon is a fantastic card. We're going to see this today as well. Any one card from your discard pile gets put back into the hand. Important thing to note, you cannot get the supporter that you play for turn with this. You can get it next turn, but not the turn you play it. Because right now, supporters don't immediately get discarded. However, this also has Zero Retreat, and the Zigzagoon in this set has Collect to draw a card. So even if you start with this thing, it still gives you the option to draw out of it, which is excellent. The Murkrow over here was potentially good, but I didn't get enough of them to even bother trying. Choose a card from the opponent's hand without looking and shuffle it back into deck is kind of neat. Dark Mind is also potentially good. Special Darkness Energy makes this 30-10, which is quite nice, but yeah, I just didn't get many of them to try it. And then the last card to really talk about, I mean, there's a Duskull over here as well, which has the same surprise attack, but we've established Dusclops is not good enough really, so oh well. The last one to talk about is the actual format warping super threat, Dunsparce. Never thought I would get to say those words. 1 energy, search your deck for up to 3 basic Pokemon, put them onto the bench, shuffle it afterwards, and then switch the Dunsparce if you choose to. Very good for energy trans actually, because you'll be able to keep the energy in play. Sudden Flash is also neat, like 1 energy, 10 with a paralysis coin flip. Yeah, no, that can still be really good. So, absolutely astonishing card, 4 of in basically every deck if we have it, which I've managed to trade for the 4th one, but I'm not going to be playing 4 today. Talk about why later on. Yeah, insane. As far as the EXs go, because we might as well talk about them before the rest of the trainers here, Aerodactyl EX is a really good card that maybe we'll see play here. If it's in play, the opponent can't play tool cards, and you discard any tools that are already in play. Tools aren't super huge right now, but that does matter for Strength Charm and later on Buffer Piece, which helps out a decent bit. And then, given that this is an evolution, Boost Energy for 60 coming out of nowhere is pretty strong. So yeah, Auto Confusion is quite nice too. So keep an eye on the Aerodactyl. Pepper's got it, and it's really not bad. Speaking of other ones Pepper's got, just the 1 copy, but this Aggron EX was what I was hoping to be able to play this week, but can't because I didn't pull it. 3 Colorless Energy, if the opponent has any damage counters on them, it does 60 instead of 30. Remember that the Lairon from last week spreads 10 to all of the opponent's Pokemon, plus, or all Pokemon in play, plus 20 to their active, so that matters quite a bit. Metal Surge is also good, just very expensive, like the Steelix. 50, but 5 energy, 2 of which are metal. 20 to each of the opponent's bench as well though, so if you can get it going, this thing's a menace. Keep in mind, these EXs are evolution Pokemon. They have 2 weaknesses for the stage 2 ones, because they are like the really high HP ones, so they do take a lot to get going, but my god, they are menaces. Gardevoir is another one here that is insane. Only I have it right now. Leo we don't know because he's not playing this week. But only I have this, and I only have 1 copy of it. Hopefully we get to see it today. You count the number of cards in the opponent's hand, put that many damage counters on the defending Pokemon for 2 energy. Insane. Sandstorm is nuts. 1 Psychic, 3 Colorless. You can boost energy this if you want, but we won't be doing that. 10 damage times the total amount of energy to attach to everything in play. So if you've been getting a lot of energy in play, this is going to do a lot of damage, right? Minimum 40, because you have to have 4 energy to attack with this thing. But for every energy the opponent has in play, they're going to take more damage. For every energy you have in play, they're going to take more damage. It is not difficult for this thing to hit 100. Like, on a 150 HP Pokemon. This is ridiculous. Shame we didn't get more of it. Carbotops is a very well represented one with Pepper and Sai here. It's got the same Hydro Cutter attack as the, what was it, Neo Discovery one? Where it's, you flip, except it's for a colorless start instead of a fighting start. Where you flip coins up to 3 energy that's attached to this thing and do 40 for every heads that you flip. It's got a good second attack, however. Spiral Drain does take 4 energy, but it's 70, heal 20. So, very strong card this round. Raichu, potentially very good because it one-shots just about everything in the game with Mega Thunderbolt. 120 KOs every one prizer and most two prizes because a lot of the good ones are lightning weak, but it's 3 energy, 2 of which are colored, discard all the energy on it. A bit rough. Dazzle Blast is a good opening gambit though, so this card is still good, but not as good as the other ones we've seen. Typhlosion's probably the weakest EX in this set. Ring of Fire is very powerful, but Fire double colorless is a bit much to get on it. But 40 burn and they can't retreat. Average is 60 damage going into your turn, and that's pretty respectable. Split Blast is more of a doubles move, but is still decent enough in singles. 100 damage for 5 energy, discard one of them. That is extremely expensive, and I'm not expecting that attack to come in too often. But in doubles, it could do 50 to both of the opponent's actives instead, which is pretty powerful. But yeah, it's a very cool card, but I think it's a little bit underpowered, to be honest. And then the literal sleeper threat here, Out My Big Ass Whale. I am very tempted to play this week, but I don't think I will because I don't think it's quite as solid as my my Shiftry deck. However, Wailord EX is unbelievably big. 200 HP on a stage 1, like, my god. 5 retreat cost, you are never actually retreating this thing, so it's fine. 2 different weaknesses does hurt, because lightning, the Raichu can one-shot it, right? And then grass is potentially pretty bad, because a lot of grass resists water as well. But its main attack is the Dwindling Dive. It does 100 for 4 energy, but for every damage counter you have on you, it does 10 less damage. It's like Karate Chop, but with fins, I guess. I don't know. It's incredibly powerful if you can manage to get it going, and there is a way of getting it going, but yeah, it's pretty slow. Super Deep Dive is not to be underestimated though. If you have damage counters on you, you heal 30 and then switch Wailord with one of your bench Pokemon. That is still very good, so do not discount that. And then we don't have a lot of trainers to talk about here, but we do have a couple that are worth noting. Lynette's Net Search lets you search for 3 different types of basic Pokemon, so think of it like the Lady Outing from last set, except for Pokemon this time. You put them into hand, unlike Fan Club, which benches them, so that can matter. You can use them for, well, I'd say you could use them for discard fodder. We don't have a lot of discard stuff that way, but you don't have to immediately bench them, so you don't have to leave them vulnerable, which is pretty good. Rare Candy, as I've mentioned before, is insane. This is Pokemon Breeder, but better. You choose a basic Pokemon in play, and if you can evolve it, either Stage 1 or Stage 2, you evolve that Pokemon straight away. You can use this on the first turn, and you can also use this to turn you bench a Pokemon. It is not the same as the Rare Candy we have nowadays. Very, very powerful card. This allows you to use the Linoone straight away, for example. You know what else lets you use that though? Wally's Training. Very strong card here too. This is Wally in Gen 6, I want to say? 6? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Gen 6. Yeah, because Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, right? This evolves your active Pokemon as a supporter. Very, very strong with the 1 energy attackers. I did build a deck that revolves around this. But yeah, super good. Super good if you are using lots of cheap attacking stuff as well. It does have to... no, it doesn't actually have to be a basic that you evolve this one. It's Rare Candy that you have to do that as a basic. I may have misspoken on that with Pepper before. I don't know. And then the last thing here is Multi-Energy. This is Rainbow Energy, but if you have another special energy on the Pokemon, then it isn't a rainbow, it's a colorless energy. So if you just need 1 colored energy for your attack costs, this is an excellent way of fueling them. So think the Gardevoir, right, that only needs 1 Psychic. That's how we're going to be using it today, because we are going to be using Shiftry with the Gardevoir as my finisher. So I did do a bit of a profile on this before. There's only been 1 change to this deck, and that's the Linoone ratio here. But let's go through the stuff anyway. We have the 2 Dunsparce. If we can start Dunsparce, we can get our board set up super quick. But we don't have to worry too much about starting Dunsparce, because Zigzagoon is also a good starter. 1 energy draw a card is just good enough. And we want to start Zigzagoon anyway, because we want to use Linoone as quick as possible. Linoone lets you search your deck for up to 2 cards, so you can get your setup going every single turn. It's amazing. The other one has 0 retreat and gives you your card out of the discard pile, which is excellent for recovering our one-off techs, but also for recovering our energy removals. We'll get to those in a bit. C-Dot-wise, both of them have got like 40 HP. This one has the higher damage threshold, so even though it's on a coin toss, this is what I chose. It was a vanilla 10 damage versus 30 on a coin flip. For the 2 Nuzleaf, they're both the stun spore thing here. The other Nuzleaf is good too, but I think this one is just a little bit better because the paralysis chance is a bit more important to me than like 10 more damage or something. And the second attack is bad, but we don't really want to use that anyway. And then we get to the Shiftry, as I mentioned, 120 HP, 80 damage if the opponent doesn't have energy on them, and you try and make sure they don't have energy on them because you return active Pokemon's energy to the hand. Then we have the 101 Gardevoir in here. We do have rare candy, so that's how we get into this. I actually only have like one or two Curlier anyway, but I don't have the other Gardevoir to justify it, so there's not much point. This is the best routes I could find for what I need here. I think just the Hypnoblast being Auto Sleep if I have to go down that sort of route is fine. The other ones are like Switch with the bench or something, and Confusion with no damage, which didn't really seem worth it. I think I was on a coin flip too, so pretty bad. And we've already gone through the Gardevoir, but the unique synergy in here, you'd think is anti-synergy for Sandstorm, but if you're putting energy for the back into the hand with Shiftry, they have more cards in their hand, so feedback actually does more damage. So there's really good synergy with this list, and it's quite nice. As far as the trainers go, we got the 2 Dual Ball. I'd probably play a third if I had it, but we don't, so that's fine. With Dunsparce being able to set up your basics at this point, you generally don't need to play Fan Club, so we're going to play Dual Ball instead, so we can actually just get the Dunsparce and then go to Dunsparce from there. Shiftry's weakness is that it can only return energy from the active to the hand, so if they get cute and start charging up their bench, this is where Energy Removal 2 comes in. This can also come in before we get Shiftry live to try and stunt setups a bit more. But yeah, you can remove energy from the bench Pokemon, so we play 4 copies of that. Keep in mind we can recover one of these each turn with that Linoon, and as a result we have a couple of one-off techs in here as well. Pokemon Reversal lets you switch the opponent if you flip heads, so it's Gust of Wind on a coin toss, but if we can keep getting this every turn, we've got like a 50% chance of it working every turn, so that's pretty good. Warp Point is the other one-off tech. I'd love 2 of this in here, but I think Reversal is a little bit more important, and it does come up, so unfortunately just a one-off right now. The 4 rare candy, because this can not only go from routes to Gardevoir or C-Dot to Shiftry, but it also turn 1 goes Zigzagoon Linoon, and then you can search your deck from there, so this is incredibly important in here. For the supporters, we've got the 1 Copycat. If we're bouncing energy to the opponent's hand, we can make them have a bigger hand so that we can Copycat more. Desert Shaman is the good disruption. I did have to trade one of these to get a rare candy, so I'm only on 3 at this point, but this lets you shuffle the opponent's energy that you've just bounced to their hand back into deck, which is really good. 2 Birch. We don't want to play too many of these because they can brick on themselves, but draw until 6 is pretty good. Elm's Training Method is nice for this deck. Ideally, you could probably play more, but I needed more draw supports in here to be consistent enough. Elm's Training Method can help with the rare candy so that you can just evolve whatever you want, so that's pretty good. And then Oak's Research, Shuffle Draw 5 is the best we have in this format, so unfortunately that's what we're going to use. And then the 1 Town Volunteers to recover the resources, because your idea is that you want to use Linoon in the early game, then when they get KO'd you can shuffle the energy and stuff from them back into the deck and win with the Shiftry. As far as the energy goes, it's 11 grass and a 3 multi. This would be 4 if I had it, but it's not really that big of a deal, to be honest. Multi is in here just because it's the cheapest way of getting Gardevoir online without costing a damage counter. So yeah, that is what we're going with. The deck is consistent, but I have been rather unlucky with some of these recently, so we will see if that actually works. But yeah, let's go take a look and see how things are going.
On to...
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, that was a game. I won my game in 7 turns.
Ah, I see.
Generally, taking 4 prizes turn 7 causes a concession.
Yeah, that would kind of do it. Alright, let's move over then and leave them to it for now. So, hello.
I got Furret out and Agron out pretty early. It's like, and Matt couldn't get his evolution sorted, so...
Yeah, that'd do it. I see he's playing Arcanine. That's an interesting one.
Zangoose in there as well. Those Marrow's in there before we realised Marrow rules.
Oh yeah, I figured.
Got tripped up by that.
Yep. Okay, I do have a basic. I think, yeah, we will bench that one as well, I think. Okay, let's go. What do we want?
Heads.
No, okay. Right. Well, you won't be too surprised to see a dance pass in the lead here.
No, that's pretty expected.
We will go with multi. I don't particularly like attaching multi to it, but I mean, you've got to attach what you got to attach. And I suppose we will just go with the strike and run here. So seems pretty decent. Let's see what we can do then. Wow, that's one unfortunate set of prizes, but I think it'll be okay as I go through. But it's kind of funny actually. Yeah, I think those are always going to be the 3 Pokemon I take. I just want to make sure of what else is in here before I leave the deck. This is where I find out I prized like 5 energy, and it's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? Because you know this game, that's gonna happen, right?
Yep.
Okay, no, we're fine. So, surprising absolutely nobody here. We're gonna go with the two C-Dot and the Zig, and I'm gonna run to the Zig here. Right, go for it.
Sorry, it's got an interesting top deck.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I don't like attaching multi to the Dunsparce because it means there's one less multi I can put on the routes later, but you only need one anyway, so I just have to find it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've actually played this matchup before. Oh, yeah, that's kind of annoying. I guess I'm going out to the Dunsparce then. Yeah, this matchup is interesting, and it is a bit awkward putting down lots of Pokemon against a Xatu. I didn't even mention the Xatu actually. Oh, wow. Yep. I didn't even mention the Xatu in my profile stuff, the bits there. It's like Wheezing, except instead of doing the poison part of it, it just puts a damage counter on all of the opponent's Pokemon. But the benefits over Wheezing is that it's 0 retreat, and it can heal your active Pokemon for 10 damage per Xatu you have in play. So it actually can matter quite a lot here. So yeah, we're going to see Wally straight away for the Carbotops. Yep, gets the energy down.
And we assemble the team.
Yeah, Team Assembly is the equivalent for the Dunsparce in this deck, which, as we say, searches for Omnite, Carbotops, or any basic Pokemon you like, and just benches all of them. I imagine Arcanine was an especially bad matchup to go against with this, because just one head flip and it dies, and it has to free shot you. Like, oh. Misery and pain.
I didn't even see the Arcanine.
Yeah, I can imagine. just killed everything beforehand. Like, I imagine if you had the old one, you could have just like Strength Charm slashed it instead, and that would have been fun. Yeah, all right. So we will draw. Well, let's go for Dual Ball. Nothing, that's fine. My bench is set up anyway, I don't give a fuck. Alright, you're not the only one who's got wall points, so let's bring that bad boy out here. This at least stops you from like double attaching here and getting 2 heads on my poor baby over here. Because knowing my luck, that's gonna happen. We've got Linoon, we have got Nuzlurf, and we have got Research. I could have played that turn 1, but this hand was too good to
yeah,
not,
that.
you know. Until you don't draw an energy, though. Go ahead. That sucks. Oh, this hand would have been busted out the ass if I had an energy card, but
Psychic.
yep.
Foresight.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, and now we draw. Buddy, you gotta stop with this. Fuck, I don't have a choice. I'm gonna Shaman. I hate giving you more cards, but I mean, you have just stat the top there. But I'll just show you. What the fuck? What the fuck,
those
dude?
Candy Club hands are the worst.
Yeah. It's like I could birch, but I'd be birching for 2. I could.
I topped the research anyway, so.
Yeah, I figured you would have.
Still a top.
You've got to be kidding me. Go ahead. This is dumb.
Certainly sounds it. But.
Yeah.
What does that do?
Uh-huh. Unreal. Search. Yeah.
You unclogged me.
Yeah, maybe I should have just... but I mean, I don't know. It's like, maybe I should have just dinged it, but... I don't know, dude.
That impact.
Yep, let's start getting these out then. Yeah, well, I've got these 2, so... So yep, start doing the spread, and we will draw. Okay, at the very least I now have an energy, so there is that.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I don't want to beat up on someone with no energy.
That's been the thing. I have just not been able to draw an energy for like 2 turns here. Let's go... We'll attempt reversal.
Okay.
Alright, let's bring in... Honestly, the Furret, I think. Because you could evolve the Aron in the bench and that would be really bad. So I think the Furret is probably the best option because you don't really want to attach to that in the first place. So I think we're good on that front.
Aside from boost to KO shenanigans.
Exactly. We are going to go for a research here. Your hand is at 4, so this seems reasonable. And then we will use the Seek Out to gather my stuff. Yeah, being unfortunate that I've missed a couple of attachments here, given I don't have any acceleration and my attacks are fairly slow, but we will get there. Right, go for it. To be fair, I can now set up at my leisure, so...
I just drew a pink card.
I don't like the sound of that.
Put the rainbow on. Heal
Sure.
the chip.
Yep, okay, that's fair. Oh, that's not showing up for me. That's a white square.
Okay, thanks for telling me that. I'll look into that later.
Yeah, give me a sec. I just want to quickly... Okay, it's worked there, so maybe it was
It
just the
depends on if
first
it's
time.
loaded and how
Yeah.
quick it loads. It's a race condition between the updating the UI and
Right.
how quick the
Yeah,
file
okay,
itself
now
loads.
it's fine. Yeah, yeah, because sometimes I don't see anything attached at the start. This is the first time I've seen a white square off of it. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's fine now.
Training method.
Sure. Yep, that makes sense. He's a big fatso and he resists grass, so... Still gets... Well, he would get free shot if it wasn't for Zatu.
Yeah, there's a reason Zatu's in this deck, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's for exactly the Shifty matchup.
No, it's actually just because healing and metal's really efficient, but
Yeah,
more
yeah,
spread.
Yeah, yeah. I'll get that one. Right. Yeah, this is the difficult bit, is handling that quickly enough, but we will do our best because I do have the double Shiftry. So we're going to start trying to bounce these things to hand here. So there's one back to hand, has to be from the active, so that's one off of it. Yeah, exactly, Case. Cards. And then the second fan away. Okay, that stops you from doing your shenanigans for a little bit, which is what I want. Let's go... Well, I mean, yeah, I've stemmed the bleeding, which is the main bit here, I think. Let's go attach onto the rocks. Since I'm no longer in any immediate danger with that. I mean, I guess, like, reversal plus boost energy, but let's be honest, that's a high roll even for you.
I don't try to high roll. I don't actually run that many high rolly cards. It
Sure.
just kind of happens.
I mean, I'm probably running with more of them in here, more than I would like for sure, but that's kind of just the nature of the setup here, to be honest. You've kind of got to do what you got to do. I just realized if I continue as headbutted with those coin flips, I would have knocked out Zati. That would have been very funny. Because I did just flip 2 in a row. Trying to think what I want to play. I've got plenty of options. It's just like, what do I actually want to play out of this hand? You're not at the... No, I mean, you're kind of at the danger threshold with it. I'm going to try removal too as well, I think, because you're at the threshold where Carbotops could be pretty dangerous here. Alright, that's fine. Gets it out of the way at least. We are going to Shaman.
Okay.
I've just binned 2 of your energy. You're going to have to spend cards to get them back. Seems at least reasonable enough here. And we will use our Seek Out. I know exactly what I want to pick up at least, which is good.
Now I've got to think, because I had a plan for that turn and you just shamaned it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I did. I mean, at least I can't shaman in consecutive turns at the moment because I don't have the other one in play. But yep, go for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fail search.
Yeah, that's fair, because you got
Search.
Lurch. That's pretty good. I like that metal energy, by the way. It looks really cool. Let's get a nice close-up of that symbol there real quick. Like when it's a bit further away, it almost looks like it's got the sort of, not gradient on it, but like pretty close to that. It's really nice.
And looking at my options. Pass.
Okay.
Just a pass.
Right, we will draw then. Removal 2. That's unfortunate. Fair enough. Rare Candy, Gardevoir. Multi on the Gardevoir. Copycat. Because you didn't play anything out of that, so shuffle draw 6. Attempt number 3. Alright, let's get that metal energy off. This is where if I had one, I would totally go with the other Linoon right now, but to get the removals back, but I do not, so I'm going to try Dual Ball here as well. Right, that's going to grab out... Where'd you go? There we go. It's going to grab out Ziggy. Down onto bench. And now it's like I kind of question if I even want to like feedback here, because it would do 6 damage counters is pretty good, but it puts Gardevoir in the firing line a little early. If that hand is holding on to like a way of getting Carbotops, that could be pretty dangerous. So I think I'm just gonna go for the Seek Out here. This, yeah, up to 2, so I could technically get 1 if I wanted to. Would I want to is the question here. Probably not. Probably do want to just get more than 1. Yeah. Actually, not that one. We want that one. That makes a bit more sense here, I think. So we'll pick these up, do my old hand shuffle, and it is your turn.
Metal on the Lyron.
Yep.
Treat to Lyron.
Yeah. Lyron comes in.
Starts spreading some pain.
Alright, so that is going to be quite a bit here. And then 20 is going on the active, so that Linoon goes up to 40 here. And this up to 30. This to 4. And then everything except your Carboto gets the damage on it, because Carboto's exoskeleton will protect it right now.
Yep.
Which is pretty good. Okay, it is annoyingly 10 damage out of range, but... I mean, I guess it kind of stunts your attachment stuff. I'm gonna go for the Shiftries here. Okay, get that back to hand then. Don't need to go for the other one. Okay, let's... you are just gonna keep doing the damage here, which is a little bit annoying. I am going to Elm this turn. I think getting the other Linoon makes a lot of sense here, because that Zigzagoon's looking a bit vulnerable right now. Whether or not I actually use it this turn is a different question, but I think that should always be happening here. My only real thing at the moment is, like, do I try and build up for Sandstorm is really the question here. Because, like, Sandstorm has the anti-synergy with your side, but then the more energy I put down, the better for that. But, I mean, I could just run this Linen to its logical conclusion here. It's just going to be a little bit more damage on God of One, and I'd like at that point, I think. Alternatively, we could start building up Shiftry and just use feedback. I guess you could shuffle draw your hand down, but other than that, it's not really going to get much smaller. Yeah, I think well, no, because I don't know. This is a weird spot, right? Because, I mean, I could also go for the Linoon play off of it and start using stuff, sniffing out things, but I think that's a little bit too slow. Yeah, I think actually I'm gonna go build this one up here, and I do kind of need to stop this thing from just killing my face. I am going to bring out the... actually going to bring out the Dunsparce here and go for the Paralysis flip. Which I do get, okay. Yeah, because I've stopped you from reducing that damage right now. So unless you get your hand below, and even then I could potentially Sandstorm, but unless you get your hand below 7 here, which you will have to fur it basically to do that, this is threatening KO next turn, and even then Sandstorm is threatening it as well.
Metal bench.
Yep. Yeah, this is why I think going for the Sandstorm play actually does make sense.
Search.
Yep.
And pass.
Okay.
That's a frustrating flip, I must say.
I can understand. Wow, my discard is like 1 grass energy and that's it right now. Okay, we will draw. So if I retreat, it's not quite enough. Okay, so I guess the play then is to go for removal too. Alright, 50% of them are taking that metal energy off. 50% seems about right. Yeah, you can do that, because I think I'm going to pay retreat here, and I'm going to go for the Linoon play. Just thinking if there's any point in doing anything else first. Yeah, I think I should probably birch here. I'm getting a bit low on cards, but I've got enough shuffle draw that I think it'll be fine. And we are going to sniff out... I didn't need to sort it actually, I didn't realize that was going to stay on top. We are going to sniff out... Let's pick up... So what would you do if I did that? Probably give me something meaningless. Yeah, let's just pick up removal too. I think that's probably the most consistent option here. Alright, go for it. Like, Shaman could have also been a thing, but I don't think that's correct here.
Alright.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Keep the good things good. Keep the good shakes coming.
Yep, so magnitude damages all of your stuff as well. We've got to put all of this crap on the board at this point. This goes up to 50. That's on to 40. Okay. We'll draw. Right, so there's still 1, 2. I would have 5, but mental energy is a thing. So let's try and get rid of that mental energy. Okay, that's fine. We'll still try and shift it though. So I'm still going to do the 2 flips for that. And the second one. Okay, so the metal does go back to hand.
If that was if it was 3 tails, I would be sorry for you there.
That'd be a little unfortunate, but I mean, it probably still would have been okay. Let's put a multi down on the shiftery here. I'm gonna need to start getting that going at some point. And I am going to pick up the removal 2 again here. Yep, go for it. I've already taken the energy off the Dunsparce for retreating, so I don't really worry too much about that here.
So, some of you have heard this one before.
Mm-hmm.
Magnitude.
Yep, alright, so this will take a prize off of the Dunsparce here.
I also heal this before I forget.
Yeah, I've been wanting you to do that for the last, like, 5 days. But, you know. Because that does actually matter here. Yeah, and Dunsparce.
Yeah, I just forget. I just being stupid.
Yep. Alright, so...
What was that? Where did that come from?
Where did that come from?
I think it came from there. I think I scrolled it out.
Yeah, you took it off of my limit.
I did by accident, sorry. I tried to do it
right, well, stop me if you've heard this before. We're gonna go for removal 2. Yep, let's get that mental energy off. If I discard them, you can't get them back, so that kind of stunts a lot of the potential here. Even if it is unfortunately curbing my own damage output a bit too, because I've gotten rid of 3 of them at this point. So the problem is you are going to KO both of these Linoons, so I do kind of need to do something here, I think. 6 in hand. It's not quite enough, but that's fine. Sandstorm does 70, which is also not quite enough, because the heal matters. Gardevoir is still not in any immediate danger, I guess. I mean, the Carbotops could be a problem now. But even Carbotops with a boost energy would be a pain, but even then... It's so hard knowing when to actually commit here. But I mean, you can't retreat it, so you are kind of stuck there. Yeah, I'm going to attach to the Shiftery. We are going to go in. I think this is a decent turn to research. Don't really care too much for what's in hand there. That makes it better. Yeah, we're going to feedback put 6 counters on. Because it's, yeah, things in your hand, so... Yeah, it's like I do kind of need to start committing here. And I think the way of doing this is deliberately pretty good, to be honest. This would have to be like exactly Switch, which I'm 99% sure you don't play Switch over Warp Point. Switch, Carbotops, boost energy, and 3 heads to actually fully punish this. Which I'm pretty sure is not the case.
Training method?
Yep. Yeah, I figured you had the access to the Carbotops that was, as a potential. Yeah, this is another interesting method for it.
Kill 2.
Yep. Okay, so we are going to at least be able to get the 4th mental energy out of you. It's a little annoying, but sure.
So here we go again.
Yeah.
It's effective, right? Because God of War's a fairy?
No. You're not even using a fairy attack. Not a fairy attack. You're not even using a steel attack. So get out of here. Right. Yeah. So this does ping twice to the active. Takes out the linen. So you do get a prize for that. But that is okay because that is your last metal energy. So I'm pretty sure we're fine here. How have I still only got 1 energy in the discard here? Well, technically 2, but I can't get that back. Shocking. Well, feedback is still enough for the knockout, so I don't have to worry about attaching active this turn, which is good because it means I can better do it onto this instead. Again, the punishes are exactly the same, except this time I guess it's 2 heads. But then I just kill you on the crap back, so we're exchanging multi-pricings there. I suppose this is 6 damage that's on this though, so it's a little bit awkward. But then you would have to chain boost energy, and you're only playing like 2, so I think I can still be somewhat safe in that aspect. I'm going to, I think, bench the C-Dot here. This is probably going to end up mattering at some point. Do I need more draw from here? Probably. We're going to Birch to draw 3. Bring this out. And then, yeah, feedback's going to take the knockout here. I'm not trying to bounce your energy this time because I don't need to. Yeah, I got the 0 retreat.
Heal twice.
Yep. Yeah, you're not going to get a better opportunity on that thing.
You do not know how long I have had these in my hand.
Yeah, I can imagine.
As soon as I had this hand, I had those 2.
Yeah, I actually think you're probably going to win this just because of that. I don't really know where we're going from here. If you flip this, right?
Yeah. Can't flip more than 3, luckily for you. So.
Yeah, that is true, actually.
Going for it. I get it.
Every time. You did this. Yeah, you did this the last time too. You bullshitted me out of a win here that I should have. Yeah, that's GG. I'm seeing this on the wall, and there's no way I can win this now because you bullshitted me again. I'm still gonna try, but yeah, you've just again completely bullshitted me out of a win that I should have here. Yeah, there's nothing I can really do from here because I take the knockout, and then you knock out right back with your boost energy on the Aggron, and then I lose because you cheese balled me out of it. That's just really annoying. There's no way you should be winning this, but look at this. 2 Zigzagoon, there was a Linoon in here, the other Shaman, and a Shiftry. So my prizes were also horrific.
Good set of prizes.
Yeah. I know it sounds bitter, but that's kind of because it is, because it's rightfully so. Every single time you were bullshitting me out of a rightful victory on this. Like, there is no way you should have won that. Absolutely no way.
I do feel like I've gotten rather lucky today. I beat Weakness, I beat this match, which I know is losing, but still.
90-10 almost, it feels like, because like, what do you actually do if I get the stuff up?
I try and pull your God of War in for the Carbotops, apparently. Yeah, that was pretty cheesy. Let's go to the other room.
Yeah.
Saved.
Oh man, it feels great losing every game to luck and nothing else.
You lost?
Yeah.
He flipped heads.
I got 2 heads on Carbotops, Gardevoir. I had 4 boost energy to punish the Shiftry counter attack because I got tons of chip.
Gotcha.
I mean, it possibly wasn't over from there, but it might as well have been. You were down to 1 prize. I had 10 HP left on the bench. I had taken all your metal energy out, but Psy Impact gets it from there if I can't keep your energy away.
That, and I could throw it for warp, get the Aggron out that way, and then start setting up the. Well, I have to stay up the thing on the bench, of course. Or I could just try to get rainbows out, but I was pretty heavily chipped
pretty much entirely depended on whether or not I would have gotten that Shiftry out the prizes, which looking at where the prizes were, no, I wouldn't have. Because the way around it, is just to stop you from ever getting to attack with the thingy, the Xatu, which honestly was very easily possible there, but yeah, no, I got bullshitted, and this happened yesterday too, where it was literally just a coin, top deck boost energy to coin flip type thing off it was it. You had 3 coins, 2 heads were needed, and every single time he always flips 2 heads. So
at least I didn't top deck the boost energy this time. It was in my hand for ages.
Sure, but
I was waiting for a better target than a Linoon. I knew my shift, my Carbotops is probably dying as soon as it does something. So it needs to do something immediately.
I got 2 tails on Pokemon Catcher in the second game, and I had a Raichu ready to go versus spread Mischievous deck. So I couldn't take out the Gardevoirs and then just spread damage overwhelmed.
Yeah, seems alright.
Red's serious this round.
I told you. You didn't believe me, and I've told you that spread is really good. And you have never believed me on it.
Yeah, that's all the Xatu. Damn good card. This is a damn good card.
Xatu's no better than Weezing, so I don't know why that clued you in on that being
the
good.
Healing Wind's actually quite nice for helping to fit it in decks like this. Because Weezing's not doing much for this deck, but Healing Wind certainly is. Because Metal Tank with Healing Winds, especially 2 of them, how are you getting through that? Especially with 150 base HP.
You remove their energy.
Like you removed your energy.
Exactly. It's funny because you do resist grass, but I still have an almost completely winning matchup in this thing. It's really funny how that works out.
I think it was Pepper that said the weakness is just a flavor text this round.
Sure is.
Yeah,
So
I had
resistance.
horrible draws, and I just couldn't get my Pokemon established fast enough, which resulted in Swampert having to be an attacker, and that's not ideal when it's accelerating my energy.
Yeah, it's not amazing, but it's still it's better than nothing with that though.
And then
Right.
before that, I beat
Zangus.
Sorry.
There was a Zangus two-shotting them.
I think I may have underestimated the Zangoose, not gonna lie.
Pretty good.
I'm curious because I have kind of been looking at it going, maybe, but we'll see. Anyway, you are the only
And
one
then
I've
before
not.
that, it was the fire matchup where I took 4 prizes on turn.
Well,
turn 6,
yeah,
7.
that kind of happens. Right, you are the only one I've not played yet, Matt, this week, right? So, and likewise. So, yeah, do we want to shift rooms for this, or we? I don't know what.
I got a different deck that bullied
I was
everyone
gonna
else.
say I don't know what the other two.
No,
are
I
gonna
want
do,
to keep
but-
playing this deck. Actually, I haven't actually got a set up Aggron once. Well, I did. Yeah. I haven't got a long game of set up Aggron yet. We left the deck behind at red.
Not at red.
I'll leave it there. It's all out.
That's certainly not mine.
Yeah, that's Matt's.
Right, are we
Okay,
gonna?
Oh,
if you-
sorry. Yeah, I changed colors.
Yeah, like if you guys are gonna play a thing, then one set of us should switch rooms then. And that's yeah. Right, so hello. I kind of don't think this one's gonna go well if you're playing what I'm thinking you're playing with it here, but we'll see. It depends on I think one prize exactly as to how this is gonna end up going. But right, what are we going for?
Heads, please.
Nope. Go figure. Right, so no draw, but that is fine because we have the energy. I'm gonna Birch draw 3. So, ironically, the no draw might have actually helped a little bit there. We're going to get a C-Dot down, and I'm going to use the Strike and Run.
Will you run?
I probably will, actually, in this deck. Depends exactly what we get with it here. Right, so that actually does work. Yeah, okay, so we can do 1, 2, and 3. Let me just double check the rest of the deck here so I can see how... Ooh, is that even a good idea, is now the question, considering what I've just seen at the bottom. Actually, are you fucking serious with these prices here? What the hell is this? Okay. 2, 4,
Bodes well.
8. Are you actually serious? Okay, I've never seen this before. I think I've lost already. I'll be completely honest with you. I do not think this is winnable.
Oh no.
We'll find out, but I'm pretty sure I've already lost this. We're going to bring these goobers out, and I'm going to switch to the Ziggs again.
Cool. I also drew.
Oh yeah, you've played your entire turn as I've been playing the stuff out here. Fair enough, okay. Yeah,
Yep.
This is what I'm like, yeah, potentially losing matchup here, but we will see.
I'll stay in as well.
Right, okay. Yeah, I mean these go into hand. I might as well just burn it because I don't want the card. I don't want to draw this later on. Of course, I get 2 heads against you. I go 0 against Pepper.
Nice.
Go figure. Obviously we're gonna fail the search because I don't need the stuff here. We do have the Nurslurf. We have an Attach, and I have the Oak. And this is pretty much going to determine whether or not I already lose this game before we start. I knew you were playing Fire as the thing with it, the same deck as last time, because I think I saw Arcanine earlier, which was kind of interesting, but, well, that doesn't necessarily do it, but I will collect to draw a card. Go ahead.
Nice. Wow, good top deck.
That sounds about right.
Candy, Blaze,
Yeah.
and Cargo.
Uh-huh.
And you know what would be really cool? If I could Pokinav into Eruption Knockout. What? Oh, there we go. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was kind of weird the way that like moved the deck up, but okay.
Ooh.
Of course. Yep.
Oh yeah, you'll be seeing that in a minute.
Yeah, I know.
Got Talo, benched it. Okay. Sequencing.
Yeah, because you've got to attach to the bench with a Blaziken, so...
Yeah, okay, so we retreat to whatever. Do that. Or switch.
Of course, yep.
I'll bench Ditto as well, I think. And then I'll Eruption for knockout.
Sure, takes out that. Oh, what is the point in playing? Yeah, no, actually GG, because look at this.
Wow.
What am I supposed to do?
How much energy are you playing?
That's for you to find out in game 2, because I'm not because I'm not telling you until we've played this.
Fair enough. Yeah, that was a god hand like I've never seen it. That was awesome.
I mean, this is what's been happening to me every single game that I've been playing with this stuff. Is I apparently just get god drawn against, and it's or god flipped against, and it's like this is not so much of a quote-unquote winning matchup, but a lot of the other ones have been. Like, there's no reason I should have lost to the deck that Pep is playing this week. But every time we've played against it, he's just god drawn it and or god flipped it with the Hydro Cutter, and yeah, I lose what should be like a 90-10 matchup or something. This one,
Wow.
well, I mean, you do hit me for weakness, which is annoying, but we'll see. Alright, what do we want?
Your pick.
Well, you're flipping it then. We'll go Tails. Alright. Well, that might be a bit more usable then. We are going to attach and I guess just collect here to draw a card. Also, yeah, the fact that I didn't get the Linoon kind of hurt as well, I guess, but you know that wasn't going to be too likely. Yep. Yeah, a lot of the oh well, that's a change coming from you. A lot of the things you've asked for, unfortunately, nobody's got like enough of the stuff of. Like we're already running on 2 copies of a lot of that at most, so
I don't super expect it. Just
nah.
doesn't hurt to.
Yeah, it doesn't
ask.
hurt to ask, but unfortunately, a lot of this stuff is like, yeah, nobody's got it anyway. Like the Delcaddy, I'm the only one who's even got more than 1 in the first place. Yep. Yeah, Pokémon is a really good combo of the stuff there. I mean, I was playing this last week, so I know the stuff with that.
That's on bottom.
Yep. And the switch.
Strike and run. I will not run.
Well,
It'll be
you put the
what
Pokemon
you
down
put
first
down.
and then you choose.
Yeah.
So you can run into a new one.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
You know, the funny thing is I wouldn't be even been able to avoid that knockout with the old Zigzagoon because that's still 40 HP as well, so it's not a case of using the new one for the stuff. Oh, that's, I mean, well, sometimes you do get the exact one you want. We're going to training method here. Because sometimes you just kind of need to. Okay, that's in. Unsurprisingly, it is going to be a Linoon. This card is nuts. I'm just like, I've been very surprised at how actually astonishing this card is for everything.
Yeah.
Okay, this
There's
is
a
looking a
turret.
lot. This is looking a lot more solid. There are not 5 energy in my prizes this time, so
That's good.
this is looking a lot more playable. Okay. Yeah.
I believe there's a Furret that has the same attack for 0 energy in the Diamond Pearl era.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so we get that out. Bench of Seedot, go into Nuzleaf. Seems pretty good. Unfortunately, no attach, but I will still seek out here. Any 2 cards that we want. Seems pretty good. Please don't play until I've actually started here, because I need to search my stuff. Especially because you do like 8 actions before I even get my deck searched here. I kind of need to actually be able to see what's going on. Right, so do that. Have I got them shown? Yeah, I have. Okay, that's cool. Right, okay, so where are we at?
Fastballed Macargo, revealed fire.
Okay.
Oak.
Yep, so shuffle draw the 5.
Oh. That's not that button. Okay.
Yep.
Do from here. I guess I'll sudden flash.
Oh, that's the wrong counter than before. Alright, so, yep, that is going to Paralyze. Well, that stuns the setup a little bit, but it's fine, I guess. Right, we do have that vault with the multi. Let's go for removal 2. Okay, that's fine. Alright, Shaman. Kind of annoying to have to shuffle back stuff with it there, but I kind of need to draw cards, so. Alright, we'll bench a Ziggy, we'll bench the C-Dot. Have a feeling I'm going to need more stuff with it that way soon. And that is going to have to end the turn. Go ahead.
Okay. Fastball.
Yeah, I can't really play fastball that much myself in this deck, to be honest. I mean, oh, there's the Swallow, yeah. Like, it's not terrible, but...
Sure, work.
Yep. Yeah, there's a reason that matters now as well, because not that you're playing it, but the Linen from this set puts a card from the discard pile into hand, so it actually does matter to keep the supporter in play, because you can't Linen for the supporter that you've just played that turn.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Sure, we'll retreat and eruption for 40. Wow.
Yep, alright, gets rid of a Linen as well. That's pretty good. Okay. That's frustrating, but it's what it is. Alright, I guess we're putting an energy down there. Let's try for reversal here. Alright, let's bring up... You don't have an attack you can use. Yeah, let's bring up the Combustion. At least forces an energy retreat here. You can't build up the Fire Stream that quickly. And yeah, we are going to use the Seek Out for, unfortunately, the last time since you hit 40 there, but whatever. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. Okay, go for it.
With nothing except research.
Okay.
Pokénav. Okay. Fail it.
Alright, I know I'm not supposed to see those, but
No, you are. Are you?
I don't think so.
I have to reveal if I fail.
Okay.
That's what I was told by the other guys anyway. But I don't think you get to see the order they go
No,
back in.
definitely not the order. Okay, I actually didn't know that then. That's interesting. Okay. I wouldn't have thought you would have had to reveal, because it's the same. I would have thought it's the same thing as like a deck search or something, but you never had to reveal a Master Ball.
Right, the issue with this one is... Well, I guess because it's forced. It's you must choose a basic evolution or energy if it's in there.
No, I'm pretty sure we've had that sort of conversation before as well, and it's never had to be enforced. I don't know. We'll ask about that one later in the Discord then, if it's not been, if it was just like an on the fly thing, because I don't see why I would have to see the stuff there, because I'm pretty sure you can always choose when it's private knowledge to.
Yeah, you know, rereading it, I kind of agree with you. Like, I guess maybe there's a distinction between look at and search, but
it's like
it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, it's like Ultra Ball or something, right? You can fail an Ultra Ball because even though that, I'm pretty sure that says search your deck for a Pokemon, right, and reveal it, put it into hand. It's the same sort of thing with that. I'm pretty sure you can just fail this and not and just rearrange the cards instead.
Yeah,
Curious.
I don't know.
Anyway, right, so we're gonna pay retreat and
yeah, we'll just eruption.
go for the eruption. Mill yours as well. Ah, that's annoying.
That's the first knockout, right?
It is the first knockout, yeah.
Okay.
You've got to mill your top deck as well, right?
Oh yeah. It's Juggler.
It's fine. Yeah. Seems fair. Right. We're gonna go in because I kind of don't have that much of a choice here. It's not the greatest one, but I do have the rare candy for the Gardevoir here. I can't attach the multi to it though, because that'll disable the other multi, so I can't actually attach the energy to it here. But this is still good enough. We're gonna feedback. You've got 4 cards in hand right now, so 40 damage on that. Go ahead.
Cool.
This is like the only way I can technically win this matchup, really. I think is to go with Gardevoir. But I mean, I did.
Yeah.
It is one of the reasons that I've like gone with this stuff here, but.
Alright, so I've jugglered for 3.
Yeah, you milled my energy for turn, which was really annoying. So.
Yeah. I believe it.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll put that there. And doesn't seem to matter too much. What do I want? Yeah, okay. We'll just eruption.
Yep. Blaziken going is pretty bad. Multi going is pretty bad for me as well, though. But yeah, 20 damage. Because multi is not a fire energy. Oh my god, thank you. Birch for 6, let's go! To be fair, he has milled like 2 energy off of me so far. I deserve this. Okay, you do already have enough in hand for that.
Yep.
I am going to dual ball here. Right, get 1. Just thinking what it should be. I think. Oh, I've probably prized the other ones, haven't I? Yeah. I remember that from the start of the game. It's like, oops, prized a lot of them. Great. So, which way around do I want to go with this then? Honestly, probably still 6 again. I think that's better here. I already have free seed on play anyway, so we're fine on that front. Right, that's got to stay there for now. We do that. I think I'm going to rare candy Shiftry here rather than just straight evolve to it, because that's going to be a bit better to preserve. Attach for a turn, and yeah, feedback will take the knockout here, so we will go for that. Okay. Yep.
Candy Blaziken?
Yep, seems pretty good.
Funny, they were right on top of each other.
Yeah, nice when that works out.
We did attach here.
Yeah, this card's a problem.
Okay. Women's free.
It sure is. The other one isn't, but this one is, so... I was initially on 4 of this, and then I got billed on the other one, being for searching out stuff to get set up, and I was like, you know what, that's probably correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Not looking too good.
I had 1 out, and I was like, it's not priced, I can go for it. Just imagine if I could have actually attached this energy to it instead, I'd have been Sandstorming at this point.
Yeah.
Multi is still better than Rainbow Energy in this setup, though. This is the only non-grass cost that I have in the entire deck, and it's 1 energy, so I will take that risk any day.
Okay, I'll throw down Zangoose, Firestarter.
Yeah, the Zangoose is the one wild card I have to be careful of here.
I'll retreat.
Okay, so not going for the Swallow.
I think that would be unwise. I will just do some sudden flashing.
Okay. Okay, right. We will draw. Right, Shiftry number 2. You've got lots of energy in the discard already, so there's not really any point trying to preserve anything that way at this stage. What is going to give me the highest odds of getting what I need here? 5 out of that. Probably straight Birch is going to give the highest odds here. It unfortunately didn't draw a playable as my my opening here, but this time we got it. We've got the energy, so that is going to be a Sandstorm KO.
Nice.
Because I have 5 total, you've got 2, so it's 70 damage right now.
Yep. Okay. Research.
Yeah, and the problem with going against this kind of attack is that the more you set up, the stronger it gets. So it's like it's hard to take out fast enough.
Very true. Alright, well, I guess I gotta do stuff. Firestarter, attach. Probably makes sense. Yeah. Super won't do any of that. I guess I'll throw a Dunsparce out. And Super Slash 60.
Yep, so this goes up to 9. Yeah, I was just looking and seeing the energy that you had, so you still got 4. So, yeah, it's like at this point, with the other Blaziken already discarded as well, I don't think there's any reason for me to use the Shiftries to try and bounce stuff back when I'm KOing active anyway. It'd be different if you weren't actually getting attacks off every time, but right now you aren't, so I'm pretty sure I'm comfortable enough with that here. This seems like a pretty good turn to Elm, though. Which may as well grab the other Shiftery. There might be a point where I end up actually needing to pivot into this stuff right now, so, you know, it's not entirely, like, a done deal yet. Shiftery might end up being important, so... Because you can't accelerate to your active, which is a key point to note. And yeah, we are going to Sandstorm for the currently 80 damage that's on board right now, so...
Down to 50.
Still 60 on this too, so even if you somehow got the other Blaze in, it's still not going to be quite enough yet. Though I really wish I had another attach that turn so I could have seen that. Yeah, that's the bit I was expecting at some point. Because you need that other Blaziken.
It's 4, and I guess we'll take fire as well.
Yeah, you have to take 5 with this, so...
Wait, is that only... That's only 4. Oh no, there's 2 fire.
You've got 1 fire, Zangoose, Blaze, Slugbone, Macaco, that's 5. Yeah, because the discard is public knowledge, that's that one you have to take 5 on, or nothing, so...
Intriguing. I'll Firestream, or Firestarter, the Blaze, Switch, Flash.
Yeah, that's the one way. Okay. Yeah, and as with all of my games right now, that single coin toss is GG. This is fucking bullshit, to be honest. Oh, God. I'm losing every game to a coin flip, and that's it. How fucking annoying is this? Yeah, there's nothing I can do. GG.
Scooping it.
I can't win, so yeah, because I can't get out of the paralysis, and I mean, I could maybe if I shuffle Drew to 5, but like, I can't get out of the paralysis, you KO me, I've got nothing I can do, and I just get steamrolled from there. All because of one fucking coin flip.
I would have had to get another coin flip.
Done fast.
I have been bullshit. I mean, okay, here's the other one, Pepper. I got bullshitted the first round of this because I prized 5 energy, 2 of which were multi. So to say that I have been unlucky this week is like the grossest of understatements. Bad type matchup as well, but I mean, at least I had a sort of thing with that. But yeah, no, I've just been bullshitted this week. I think I have a fair reason to be mad with this one. My draft was unusable, and my my luck this week has been the worst it has ever been in terms of stuff here. I don't think I've actually lost a game because I've been outplayed this week, and that's frustrating. Like, take it as you will, but I mean, when you're playing fire into this week, you are very brave, to say the least. But
That's
yeah, I've only lost to coin flips this week. I haven't actually lost to anyone's actual play, so you know, I think I have a reason to be a bit upset with this one.
Yeah, I mean, I bet against fire and, well...
Yeah, I mean, like, every good deck this week was water, so to play fire is suicide, to be honest.
Unless I can't draw.
Well, yeah, but that's just part of it again, isn't it? Same sort of thing I've had.
Yeah, because my game with Sai was okay. I got a Lion start, but he got an Omastar start with Candy.
I'm sorry, Linon?
Lyron.
What the fuck is a Lion? It's Lairon.
A Lion.
It's Lairon, Zatu, not Zaytu. What?
Anyhow, yeah, I ended up going. I ended up in the Wally's Lyron start. Lyron. Yeah, but against the Candied Omastar start. And I was basically feeding. I got 6 damage to it, fed basic to it for 5 turns, finally found Nigron, set it up, and kind of won the game.
He Desert Shamaned 2 water energy away when I had a Swampert with 2 energy in the back ready to go as soon as Omstar went away, and my hand had 0 outs.
Yeah, that would do it.
Is what it is. Happens. Can't be mad about it.
So you played like 2 cards off the exact same list as last week then, right? Looking at this,
I see 4 cards that weren't there last week.
I mean, fair, but you've got
it changed a bit. These were originally Merrills, but I was informed that those do not in fact have free retreat.
Yeah.
Then add all the warp energies.
Okay, yeah, I guess I did
add switch, add rare candy.
Yeah.
Update my cargo count.
No.
Add Zangoose, add Lynette.
Yeah, I was looking at Lynette and Zangoose and being, yeah, that seems to be about the core of it.
I also didn't play Oracle last round. Pretty... Oh, and Dunsparce. So I guess like half the deck changed.
Yeah, it's a bit more than it looks. It just, I mean, I guess the core bit of it is exactly the same, but that's always going to happen with these things. So it's not really like Yeah.
Giddy.
Not a knock against anything off of that, because yeah, I mean, you've got Blaziken, you're gonna play fucking Blaziken, right? But
Yeah, I had a Guardy deck built too, but I don't know. In playtesting, it just didn't feel quite as good.
that's fair.
So the risk of running fire into this set was high, though. Everyone was taking at least a fossil.
I mean, okay, my other deck was Waylord, like, so you would have, again, no chance against that. Like, I don't care what the hell you do, there's zero chance of beating Waylord with this deck.
There is one counter to Wailord, and it is exactly this thing that Gal has.
Yeah, the Raichu is the obvious, like, one-shot out to it, but
I think the Shiftry beats it too in the long game, just because it can stop it getting to keep staying at 4 energy, but...
I don't know. I actually don't think this deck beats it, unless you get a lot of energy removal heads. Because...
Dang, you could have played Wailord.
I mean, I could have, but I've also been, despite that deck also being really consistent, I've been drawing pretty terribly with that against these two.
Yeah,
so...
I don't think Cal's problem is our decks.
No.
I think it's the coin tosser.
My problem this week has not been losing to anyone in particular. It's just been the fact of I have been the least lucky person on the fucking planet right now, because neither of these decks are remotely inconsistent. I've been losing to coin flips or just not drawing, despite, you know, being arguably more consistent than most of the stuff with it. This one is a bit different, because you have a lot of draw support with it here. When you consider the Oracle into like the nav stuff as well as a bit of draw/search, right? Because you can Oracle into whatever like Pokemon or energy you want, plus the supporter for next turn. So that's like pretty good. But so you've got like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9, 10, 11, 12. So if you want to count these as like pseudo draws, you've got basically the same draw support count as I've been playing in this. So Juggler's a little sketchy with only 11 energy though, right?
Yeah, I figure if it only is discard 1, draw 3, I'm still pretty happy with that, since I need to discard stuff and don't have a good way to do it otherwise.
Well, next set you will, because we get TV Report the next set, so that kind of eclipses Juggler there. I can see the idea. I mean, you are Delcadulus as well, so it's harder to play on that side of it. But yeah, no, this I can more properly explain to you this stuff once the server catches up again with it here. I can more properly explain this stuff to. Yeah, I can more properly explain this stuff with it here now. I mean, you know, Shiftry is energy denial. I don't like this style of deck, I'll be totally honest, but I was backed into a corner this week because I, unlike you, don't have energy acceleration stuff. Turns out Venusaur isn't actually very good, and I only have 1 Swampert and 1 Blaziken. So I can't play any good deck, basically. So I'm in a corner with this stuff here. You have 2 perfectly valid acceleration decks to play, so like you can do whatever the fuck you want, but I kind of have to just play garbage, if you will. And turns out this isn't actually garbage, but you can tell if something does kind of go awry, like that 1 flip to take out my only attacker. Like, what am I gonna do at that point, sort of thing, you know? Which is frustrating to say the least, but this deck is like really solid when you get to it though. Shiftry denying all the energy off the active does really help, like if I was going to be able to stick one of your things. Putting all the energy back into hand is where you can't accelerate it from, and all of your stuff takes more than 1 energy to attack, so there's a pretty reasonable shot that I just stop you from being able to actually attack. Oh, excuse me. From being able to actually attack for a fair while if I just bounce all your stuff back to hand. And if you start charging, I mean, in most decks, if you start charging stuff up on the bench to avoid the Shiftry, because it's active only, Energy Removal 2 comes in with that. And the Linoon can actually recycle the Energy Removal 2, even if it is only 1 per turn. That's still 50% shot that your only attachment for that turn is getting dusted. So against a lot of decks that aren't exactly hitting it for weakness, it's going to be kind of oppressive, to be honest. Yeah, it's more than a little bit insane. And the Gardevoir has like more synergy than you would expect with this, because if I bounce the energy back to hand, that means you've got a bigger hand, so Gardevoir does more damage. And if you do start charging stuff up on the bench, I mean, I've got the one reversal, because again, Linoon lets you tech a bit more with the stuff here, because you can always get them back out the discard, right? If you start charging a big thing up on the bench, I can reversal it and then Sandstorm kill it, right? So, or even just start getting rid of the energy with the Shiftry. And it's that kind of same idea of, well, if you can't touch me, then, you know, we just smack everything for 80 damage or whatnot. And it's really hard to play against unless you have exactly weakness and or potentially energy acceleration. I'm not even sure Gardevoir beats this, to be honest, because you damage your own stuff every time. So I'd have to play the matchup, but like, I wouldn't be too surprised if that's not unfavorable, just because you're giving me damage already, right? Because I can always switch to just using Fury Swipes if you've damaged yourself enough on that. So I don't know. We'd have to play that out and see. But yeah, this deck has kind of got stuff for just about everything. The Warp Point count is the only thing I wish I could have had a second one. Mostly because the status stuff is pretty annoying, but I just couldn't find the space, really, because I need the removals and stuff like that. Maybe if I take Reversal out, but then Reversal is the way that I get around stockpiling on the bench, right, when I've used my removals. So it's kind of hard. And then, yeah, same energy count as you've got in here, 14. Seems to be about right for most decks at the moment. And then there's Big Old Whale.
Big Whale!
This deck is obnoxious, I'll just say that with it right now. I mean, Wailord is nigh unkillable, unless you have exactly 2 heads on Sceptile or Raichu. You are not killing this thing. Even Shiftry doesn't one-shot it, and that's like probably the highest single damage output you're going to see on most attacks right now. So yeah, this thing doesn't die, and there is a lot in here to help keep it up. We've got the triple Pokemon Nurse. It can obviously heal and switch itself a little bit. 4 Super Scoop Up just gets in the way as well. There's more switching outs in here. Would have liked a 3rd switch, actually, would have helped, but the main idea is to move the energy from the active to a benched one with Kingdra, then fully heal the active one, and the opponent just cries because they've spent like 3 turns hitting this whale in the active and just getting nothing out of it. And also it does 100 damage if you actually get it in clean, which this deck is very good at doing. The only thing I've been losing to off of it is not getting enough attaches. So like arguably I could do with more energy in here, but I don't know where you'd fit it in, because everything else seems too important right now. Because like realistically, how are you defeating a 200 HP Wailord? You just don't. Next set might be a little bit tricky.
Give me a car battery in some time.
Well, next set does have that car battery for you, because Magneton is probably the best answer to it, but yeah, no, the only reason I didn't play this one, apart from thinking that Sai was probably going to play Raichu because of our midweek stuff, was...
I haven't really done... I've got a bit on Raichu, but I'm not sure if it's... I don't think it's right.
Yeah, I think I was thinking I put the fear of this deck in you a little bit, considering, but then again, it is sometimes just unable to draw the stuff at the start. So whoops. I don't know. Also, this was before we traded, so I try and fit the 4th Dunsparce in here as well at this point. Because starting Dunsparce in this deck is kind of just like almost auto-winning if you can just keep attaches going. Because I mean, what do you do if I just put like 2 whales and a horsey down or something, right?
I think Dunsparce is a mistake in this.
This little stupid whale also has 80 HP and can heal like poison and 4 damage counters off of itself, so it's not even a bad stall in its own right. So yeah, but it kind of lost to itself a bit too much, I think. But honestly, again, my back is a bit against the wall on this stuff here, because unlike you lot, I don't have acceleration. I mean, Pepper's in a similar situation. It's a shame we can't just like cheeseball him having, well, me having one Gardevoir, so we could swap the stuff around that way. But that's not how this works. So
instead, I got Fatsos and Fossils. I will just say right now, these four here, that should be on the night line. Pull down is just so much better. Would have got me sick. Would have saved so many coin toss headaches.
Yeah, Armastar would have been better in here for sure, in terms of that side of things, but...
Yeah, I was just thinking, oh, the Exoskeleton, oh, I run enough Switch, not care about the retreat cost. No, because pull down is such a good attack in a deck with this much spread.
Yeah.
The self-damage does not matter nearly as much as I thought it did.
Honestly, if you have this here thing by itself, you might even just forego the Aggron. This thing's really good for
I
stage
don't
one.
think you... There's certainly times you don't evolve the Aggron. Like I say, you don't want to go into this immediately if you can't immediately swing with it, but you want the finisher.
Yeah,
Otherwise
there's
you're in...
apart from trading you the Arons, let's just say there's a reason I didn't build this deck. It's because I don't have this guy. I have everything else here. If you swap out the Carbotops for the Armastar, like I could totally play everything else with it here, but I don't have this guy, and I think you need this guy.
The other reason I wasn't sure about the Armastar was my energy lineup, which is honestly scuffed as hell. I'm not going to deny it. This is a scuffed energy lineup.
This is the Please Play Golduck deck.
I'm a forward deck. What do you expect?
I expect you to play something else that you could town volunteers in, but I don't think you're even playing that card. So
I'm not, because I don't have anything to put in with it. And I don't expect the game to go long enough for it to matter.
You're a spread deck. How is it not going to go long?
Because Aggron.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I guess the point is though, I'm running too many specials for it to really work out, and I haven't run out of Pokemon yet before my opponent's taken 6. So that might change with Omastar. My other decks have been along the same line. Because I did pull fossils. I pulled lots of fossils.
Yeah, there's some stuff that I didn't end up building this week that way. Like, I have a playable Armaldo setup, which could be pretty good, but at the same time, I didn't really put anything into trying to test it this round. I had Lonely Fang built because I actually pulled 4 Wobbuffet too, but that's too much of a medical because you've kind of got to time it to the point where, okay, the EXs are the huge thing with it, and I just don't think we're going to quite get there in draft. Like, this deck here is close. Like, this deck probably folds to Lonely Fang, to be honest, because the Zatu is hit for weakness by Wobbuffet, and you're wanting quite a few things out. So you probably lose to
Lonely. I'm a spread deck. Lonely Fang kind of
yeah
on spread deck anyway.
So like it's a medical. It'll be good against this. It'll probably be pretty bad against the Blaziken stuff because I think you just do a little bit too much damage in the end. And then otherwise, I don't know. Like I don't think it didn't do super well into the stuff I had here otherwise, and I just felt like in the end Shiftery stuff was better. No, the Wobbuffet's attack can't hit itself for weakness. It does 10 damage to itself, and that part doesn't get hit for weakness.
Let's pull that. Please hold while I try and remember how to spell Wobbuffet.
Don't worry, I'm gonna get the deck out here then.
Double B.
Don't apply weakness and resistance to this damage.
To this damage. That's the 10
That's
to itself.
The wording.
Wobbuffet does 10 damage to itself and don't apply weakness and resistance to this damage. It's not
just
in
weird
total.
wording interpretation.
Yeah. It would have been... See, this is where the Zapdos and Aquapolis actually had the better wording, because Zapdos put 2 damage counters on itself, right? Because it is also weak to its own type. It's weak to lightning. So that would have been the better wording. If it just said, put 1 damage counter on Wild Effect, that would have been better. But that's not what they decided to do. They decided to make it weird. So,
it's probably because of the interaction with self-damage prevention, like Defender.
I mean,
That's probably what it is.
That wouldn't matter in this case, but...
No, I mean, if you have Defender on Zap, it still hits itself. If
Yeah,
you have
but
Defender on this, it doesn't.
But Defender wasn't in format, so why would they care?
I don't know. Unlimited matters? Oh, shit, there's my headphones. Quiet. Don't sit on my wire, you stupid chair.
Aw. But yeah, no, this would have been a meta call, and I didn't think it's the right thing for it. I don't actually know if we're ever going to get to a point where EXs are the sort of dominant bit with it here. In some decks, yeah. In most decks, probably not. I don't think we're going to pull enough of them to...
It's a tech choice. I was thinking about taking it in something to deal with Whale. But, because with a Zartu deck, it kind of deals with Whale. Kinda.
Nah, because I just switched to using non-whale.
Yeah.
Kingdra's a perfectly functional attacker. I will just use that instead. And then you'll be sad because I delete your energy at 50% of the time. Yeah, no, I think it's just one of those cases of it's like, we know the card is good, but are we going to get to a format where it is going to actually get a chance to shine, given the fact of we are drafting and therefore do not always pull enough of the EXs? I mean, we kind of both had that this week, Matt, where we both pulled very little in that front. Like, I got 2 Raichu, the Wailord, 1 Wailord I had to trade for, and then the Carbotops.
Oh.
Don't deal the packs to me, you fool.
Ignore that.
Let's just right-click delete. Yeah, no, so it's like, we didn't really get EXs this week. I know Sai didn't get them last week, so even with the 1 in 6 like odds at the moment, and it gets worse later on when the shorter odds, I guess, is that the right way around you put it?
To 1 in 12 in Magma Aqua, and they just vary a bit throughout the era.
Yeah, I'm just like, I was trying to think in my head for a sec. It's like, is shorter odds the right way of that, or is shorter the one where it's like more likely to happen?
Yeah, it goes down. If I just get out my code, it goes down to 1 in 12 in Aqua Magma. And it stays there for a while.
So, yeah, it's one of those where, again, we know that safeguard type attacks are
It goes
good.
to 1 in 36 in Delta species. Then back down to 1 in 12.
That seems like a really...
1 in 36 again. It's a bit bumpy.
1 in 36 doesn't sound right, like, at all.
That might be another flip side mistake. Flip side's not 100% reliable, but...
That can't be right. Like,
getting good data on these old packs is hard.
I understand that, but, like, there's no way that there would have been one per box, surely. And for one set only as well? That doesn't sound right.
I'll see if I can find a better source. Try and contact the guy who did the source, who sourced the earlier packs. Told me he's on a forum and old forums. I sign up for shit.
Well, I think you have locked my game up with that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it was taken. Maybe not. I think you just about locked my game up.
Oh, I
with,
think Matt's
that.
doing card pack opening.
Oh,
Yeah,
is that a thing as well? Yeah, you're locking my game up a little bit with that as well.
Yeah,
It's
the ping numbers are all over the place.
It's
Sorry about
okay.
that.
It's yeah. So, like as I was saying with it, I don't think I had a ton of choices with this stuff here. I had a Wally deck built up as well for like turn 1 energy attacking stuff that could have been good. That kind of is another bit of a metagame call though, because you got to kind of work out, okay, which attacks are actually going to be the most worth using here. Like, if I knew what was being played, I probably would have had, let's see, Raichu, Donphan, and Sea King would have been the one for this round. you know, because obviously Sea King does a lot against the water stuff. Also has 0 retreat, so it's pretty good there. But that isn't going to be possible to call before you get into the room, right? So I can potentially know what these two are going to play a little bit, because we test a bit during the week and we see, okay, what have we got that might be good, what might not be. But even then, especially Pepper's got a bunch of curveballs that can potentially come in, so
the
it's
Credilli
hard.
deck is one I considered. This point, I didn't feel like it would feel comfortable about going into the field.
Yeah, and it's like if I was gonna try and Wally against this sort of thing, I would probably need to go Raichu, Espeon, and Combuskin, I guess, because the other Blaziken is still pretty decent. So when it comes to this sort of thing, but
I think I prefer the way the Aggron deck plays, because Aggron Smash, but.
And against the Aggron one, I think this is actually a pretty reasonable setup with the Donphan, the Raichu, and the Espeon. Because the Espeon dumps on the Xatu as a good 2-shot, and you're damage countering, so you don't even get more stuff on it back. Lairon itself is a little bit awkward, but I can kind of work through that. It's not super pretty, but Confusion is really bad for Lairon, so I eventually just build up a Mega Thunderbolt on it, right? Or if you keep getting a ton of energy in play, lock it up again.
Stuff because my end froze.
Oh,
Sorry. Oh, really?
Okay, we're going here.
So weird.
Yeah, so the Raichu probably is what ends up having to go there. But if you get a ton of energy in play, Espeon's Energy Crush is a pretty formidable threat too. So that would be an okay sort of setup for it. And then the Carbotops, well, that's where the Raichu and the Jolteon are reasonable. Aggron itself is weak to fighting, so Donphan could maybe be okay, but it's not the best attacker against it, right? But it's still... You're hoping not to get to that point.
The other tech I was thinking about was the Aerodactyl, but I made a meta call that there was going to be no real fighting in the format, so I decided not to bring it.
That's fair, and you got me disconnected. There we go.
Yeah, you DC'd like a minute ago on my end, so...
It's so weird. I don't have any kind of, like, slowdown when I do it in a solo room. Is it just like a multiplayer room that has...
What CPU do you have? What CPU?
I think it's an i5 A300.
My CPU is decent, like a 3500G. So it shouldn't be that. It might just be the extra multiplayer.
You've got to consider it's part multiplayer and also part the fact that you are putting there are hundreds of cards going out with the stuff with it there. It will slow stuff down.
Yeah, I guess. Just slows it down more than in a solo room. Oh, Muck's back.
Yeah, they brought Muck back.
Yeah,
active only. Never mind.
Yeah,
it's still a pain. It's a Wally target.
It's kind of still stupid, to be honest. It doesn't matter that it's active only. It's going to be a problem.
Because you can't even start to sit down either, because it's a body now, not a power.
Yeah, see, I'm loading over 400 cards coming back into this room, so...
These decks in red then that aren't doing much. There's 2 decks in the red zone.
2 decks in the red zone.
Like
yeah. Those are just my Gardevoir and Blaziken.
Yeah, this is one of those things of... obviously, I wish I'd be able to get the Gardevoir stuff, but there's just no shot of it, and... yeah, it kind of puts a real downer on the stuff. It's like, what am I honestly supposed to do when it comes to energy decks at this point? Like, I just don't really have anything. So it's kind of rough. We'll maybe figure something out with it, but like, yeah, last set was a huge mixed bag in that sort of front, and just gonna have to probably try and play the more efficient stuff if we can, but we'll see. Anyway,
This is an incredible amount of Solomons.
I know. I guess it's just the non-hollow rares again for the set.
yeah, it's a rare.
Yeah, it's like the last set that does that, I think.
Same for the Shelgons too.
Yeah, it's kind of
Oh.
interesting.
So that's our Ho-Oh replacement.
Yeah, it sure is. Right. Anyway, this is going on more than long enough as far as the actual recording bit goes. So we're gonna